What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm James and welcome back to Film Talk, and today we are back with another film review. Today's topic, The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man is a 2020 film directed by Leigh Whannell, starring Elizabeth Moss and Oliver Jackson as the leading roles. And I went and saw this film recently, and I've got some stuff to say about it, so let's get into it. So the basic story of the film is that after Adrian Griffin stages his own suicide, he uses his power to become invisible and stalks his ex-girlfriend Cecilia Cass. When the police refuse to believe her story, she takes matters into her own hands and fights back. So, first thing I'm going to point out is that the scares in this film rely heavily a lot on the silence of the scenes. And honestly, it actually worked. Say, someone's walking through a room and there's no music whatsoever. It's just pure silence. And then they kick over a dog bowl, or something drops, or someone knocks something. It jump scares you because you're not expecting it because of how quiet the scene is. And I'll be honest, I actually got scared of a dog bowl about 2 minutes into the film. Going off of the whole silence thing, when they did use music in a scene, it was like extremely loud. I noticed if they did use it, it would like take up 90% of the sound in the whole scene. Like if someone was saying something or screaming or just making any noise whatsoever, you'd be able to hear them faintly, but the speakers were blaring the music from the film extremely loud, and it took up so much of the audio. And I don't know if it's because of the cinema I was in, but at the very beginning of the film, like when the starting credits are appearing and it says the name of the movie, it's just a scene of just waves moving, right? And the camera's down in the waves and the water's flowing over. When that was happening, it felt like I was in the water. And I know that sounds weird, but like, with the audio and the way it was done, it was like, if I closed my eyes, it was almost like I was there. Okay, so the next thing that I think I should point out is that the characters in the film, they felt all a little bit bland. They just weren't that interesting. Although, they did all have, like, their own personalities, and they all felt very different, and they all brought something to the film. They still just weren't very memorable. And I think that's kind of where this whole film kind of ends up. It's not a horrible film, it's just not very memorable. So when our main character, Cecilia, is first caught and she's like floating, I'll be honest, it did not look right. I was like, oh no, this film's just gonna be a whirlwind of bad effects and it's just not gonna be good. But I'll be honest, throughout the film, it actually seemed to get better. And the Invisible Man, when he is invisible, it's still fine. Like, you know, knives are floating around and stuff, and it was okay. But later on in the film, something happens to the Invisible Man. I won't say what, but something happens to him, and then after that thing happens to him, it just looks better throughout the film. And it's honestly creepier. I can't say what it is because it'll spoil it. But if you've seen the film, I think you'll know what I mean. I feel like they took the idea of having the invisible character and they used it in very creative ways. Like there's a scene from the trailer where he gets paint poured on him, and it's like a massive jump scare in the movie. And it, like, seriously, I kind of knew it was coming. I wasn't sure because I had seen the trailer. But when it happened, it was a genuine big jump scare. And again, with the music being extremely loud, it really worked well together and it made it very creepy. They also did creative things like, you know, the girl's walking around dragging a blanket and then the blanket stops and you can slightly see as the viewer that there's like footprints like pressing down on the blanket, and straight away Cecilia doesn't notice it, but then eventually she does and she pulls in and she has a freak out. But, you know, they just do stuff like that throughout the movie that's very creative in what they do. Like, it's not just things floating around and... Well, the film doesn't feel like a live-action Scooby-Doo, if you know what I mean. How, like, you know, they're walking around haunted house, there's things floating, ooh, it's a ghost. Like, it's not like that. It's done in a good way where it's entertaining and it's not to the point where it's distractingly bad that it takes you out of the film. It's not like that. And yeah, the film has a few twists in there that are genuinely good, but I'll be honest, I kind of expected the ending to be a little bit more than what we got. The ending does have a twist, as I kind of expected going into this movie because it is such a strange concept. There's multiple twists, and some of them work well, some of them fall a bit flat. And overall, I just feel like the ending could have been a bit better. It could have been improved. Something I think I should say is that Blumhouse are the ones that produced this movie. And I really like Blumhouse. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. But I just think that all their films are very creative in the way that they do them. So we have Invisible Man, which has taken, they have an invisible character as the main concept. Then they have Truth or Dare, where they turn Truth or Dare into a horror movie. Like, I love that. And then there's The Visit, which is one of my favourite movies of all time, just because of I just like it. I don't know why. You have kids going to their grandparents' house and they make a horror movie out of that. And I think they worked on the Conjuring movies as well. I might be wrong there, but I think I'm right. Yeah, I just love Blumhouse and I really love some of the stuff that they do. Sure, their movies aren't great and lots of them aren't Oscar worthy and stuff like that. But I think the fact that they don't just do a generic horror movie and they make it a bit unique is the great thing about them. So lots of scenes in this film had me on the edge of my seat. You're worried, you don't know where he is. That is the creepiest part. The fact that you don't know where the killer is, that is really scary. And the fact that he could be on screen and you don't even know it, it's honestly freaky. So I would like to say one final complaint for the film, The Invisible Man. They didn't use Queen's song. That's all I have to say. I sat through the credits expecting it to appear somewhere, or even someone in the background listening to it on their phone. But no. I don't know, maybe they couldn't afford it. I'm not sure. It's not even in the trailers. And then while we were through the credits, I actually Googled it and I'm like, well, it's not even in the film. Like, I thought it would appear somewhere. It felt like an obvious thing to do. I'm just going to go with they couldn't afford it, but I don't know. So with all that said, I give the film The Invisible Man a ranking of a 7 out of 10. So I like to repeat myself a little bit at the end just to get everything wrapped up. So the film was intense. You didn't know what was going to happen. Some great visual effects and some not so good ones, but it was okay. The story kept me interested. The characters were a bit bland, but they were still kind of interesting, but, they were all unique, but they weren't very memorable. I don't think this is my favourite film that Blumhouse has brought out, but I reckon it's one of their best. I don't expect a sequel. I don't need a sequel. This film was alright. A 7 out of 10. Would watch again. So I'm sorry if this review didn't have enough in it. I tried to keep this one more to the point and try and not repeat myself like I know I've done in the past. And I actually saw this film a couple weeks ago now. I'm just trying to get this video done so that I can start doing some videos on some more interesting things. Not just film reviews, I want to do a bit more. I just wanted to get this video done. So, thank you for watching. So thank you guys for clicking on this video and watching my review for The Invisible Man. Some more interesting videos are on their way, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching, and that is a wrap.